Hello and welcome. It is Monday, November 23rd. We're back after a week off with news from a few tournaments, the start of Season 3 of Warlords, the Legion talents, as well as we've got some class talents and PvP class talents. And we have a special guest today, Yipz, who is a multi-rank 1 and a pro player, and in his own words, is the most mango feral you have ever seen. This week we had the MGN tournament, which was actually a few weeks ago since we took a week off. And it was a really great tournament, really good quality, something different that we've never seen. And it ended up being Follow Esports, our Jelly Beans and Vossel, or not Vossel, Jelly Beans and Walter Bear and Absturge, their Jungle Cleave and FLS. They ended up beating out GCD TV, which is Flora and a few other people. They beat them out 4-2. They also beat out significantly Tempo Storm in their class. And then we had Season 3 starting. There was a whole bunch of stuff that changed that really wasn't expected. There was a lot of class changes that kind of came out of nowhere. For DKs, they got pretty much for Frost Death Knights, got a 10% overall damage buff. Frost Strike, Howling Blast, and Obliterate, which is most of their damage, all got buffed by 10%. Moonkins got buffed. Moonfire, Wrath, Starfall, Starfire, Star Surge, and Sunfire all got buffed by 6%. Ret Pally's got a little bit of a buff, which they needed. Crusader Strike, Hammer of Wrath, Judgment, Divine Storm, Seal of Truth, and Templar's Verdict all were increased by 8%, and then I actually think Templar's Verdict got buffed a little bit more to make up for that in a little patch note a little later on. For Elemental Shamans and Enhancement Shamans, both got a little bit of a buff. Chain Lightning, Flame Shock, Lava Burst, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Shield damage all got buffed by 4%, as well as in Elemental Mastery got buffed by 4%. Earth Shock and Earthquake all got buffed by 4%. For Enhancement Shamans, Lava Lash, Storm Strike, and Wind Fury also got buffed by 4%. I actually left out here, but Windwalker damage got buffed as well. We saw a 20% buff to Rising Sun Kick, which is actually a pretty big deal because Windwalkers were already not bad. They were in a tier 2 comp with Windwalker DK, Holy Paladin. We have a GCD TV tournament coming up. If you're a fan of D Machine or Clutter or GCD TV and the quality of tournaments that they put on, check it out. Saturday, November 28th at 5 p.m. That's Eastern. So a lot of the people that are listening live are Central. That's 4 p.m. here. And it will be a 3v3 tournament with 4 players allowed, just like BlizzCon was. You can find that at twitch.tv/GCDTV. Some really good stuff. This week we did have the release of the Legion Alpha, Beta, whatever you want to call it. I think it's actually the Alpha.
Yeah, it's the alpha.
And we had lots of talent changes, and we had the PvP talent changes released. Well, PvP talents introduced, and then the Legion talent changes. I guess there was a whole bunch there, and we could talk about it for days and days, reading over every single thing. If you just search for Legion Beta talents, it'll bring you up to a site, and I think it's a cursed site. You can go on there, look at the talent calculator, look at your class. But there was a few notable things thought we could share with the world. So Death Knights, they had to choose now between Remorseless Winter and Asphyxiate. The Blood Death Knights got a level 100 talent, but I guess I actually already have Bone Storm. But they all had to choose between Defile, Breathless Winter, and then a specific talent, depending on what spec they were. Death Knights, Blood Death Knights was Bone Storm. Frost Death Knights was Glacial Advance. Glacial Advance is new, level 100 talent. Summons Glacial Spikes from the ground that move forward, dealing 180% attack power near its eruption point. So kind of a in-forward thing.
Yeah.
Druids was really cool. mainly because each spec gets to pick up an affinity to another spec. So, for instance, Resto Druids can pick up the Feral affinity and it'll increase their movement speed by 15%. They can pick up the Guardian affinity and reduce damage by 10%. Feral can pick up the Restoration affinity and get you Sarah's Gift, or they can choose the 10% less damage affinity. They can also be a Moonkin Feral if they really want to, and go in Moonkin form and everything, and cast Star Surge and all that. So I think that's a really cool talent. Uh,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
One notable thing to mention: it does appear that all druids except for balanced druids have lost Cyclone, so only Moonkins have Cyclone now. So yeah, what do we got? We got Warriors.
Yep, warrior. You want me to go ahead and read this now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, warriors. You can pick between Avatar, Overpower, and Dauntless, which increases or decreases rage cost of ability by 20%.
It's pretty big to me
Yeah,
because
that's actually huge.
you get I don't know what to pick there because Avatar it's just like it is now 20% damage increase plus it's gets you out of roots and snares on a long cooldown. You get Overpower, which is going to be this just like it used to be. Every time you get dodged, you're going to get that for free. It's just kind of an extra damage, more consistent. And then you get Dauntless, which is also a more consistent deal because later in the tree you can actually pick up Heroic Strike back. So that's back and Overpower's back. Seems really good for Warriors, in my opinion.
Yeah. Although Dauntless, it just seems kind of more of like a
It's probably a
if you have
PVE
too much
talent.
rage.
I think it's probably a PVE talent. But
Yeah.
I can see, I can see that being good. I mean,
Oh
you
yeah.
want to dump your stuff, especially if you decided to pick up Heroic Strike. You just want to dump all that stuff and get
Yeah.
it over with.
Burst potential is there, that's for sure.
I think Overpower will be mostly used, but Avatar probably in some comps, really kind of gimmicky comps where they want to kill somebody quick. Be cool. Mages. Mages, for the most part, it looked like their playstyle was going to stay fairly the same, which I think is okay. I think they're in a good spot playstyle wise. It is kind of boring at times, so we'll just have to see. But one notable thing is Ice Block has two charges now, and there will be no more no more Cold Snap. Ice Block's going to be on a 5 minute cooldown just like now. Each charge is on that 5 minute cooldown, so you can use them back to back. There will still be hypothermia though, so but 30 seconds will still be there, so they can't just do it over and over like the rogues can do with evasion. They also have to choose between Ice Nova, which is their great big burst damage ability now, and Ring of Frost, which is an AoE CC on their Frost school. It's kind of important to note. So I
Yeah, it's gonna
imagine,
be pretty big for threes.
yeah, I think most of the time Ice Nova is just going to stay as long as it's doing the type of damage it is now. If it's not, they're going to pick Ring of Frost every time. But if it's pretty equal, I think they're going to pick Ice Nova, and then sometimes on some comps pick Ring of Frost, like in melee teams or stuff like that. So
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring Snuff into the call because he just woke up. Let's see if we can't get him on here. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Hey, welcome to the world of the awake.
What's up, Snuff?
Can you hear us? Okay, we'll just let him come in when he can when we take a break. We have some cool changes to priests. They got their void form. They've got insanity. They took away shadow orbs. They took away mana for them. All some really cool stuff. But and we've already talked about that. We actually talked about that 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
when you were gone. But I think the most funny, I added this just because I thought it was hilarious. One of their talents is called, it's a level 100 talent called Surrender to Madness. And it says, all your insanity generating abilities generate 300% more insanity until you exit void form. Then you die. Like flat out, then you die. And I see what
Wouldn't
it is.
that
It's probably some kind of PVE thing where you have to stay in a your void form the whole time and never burn all your insanity.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Couldn't you do that for PvP and just stay in void form the entire time and just mow
Yeah.
people down?
But I thought, in like rated battlegrounds or something, that might be kind of cool. You could go after a flag carrier and pop that, and kill him at the same time you die. I don't know. There's something could be neat with that.
Yeah, that might actually be pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. Well, there was a whole bunch of stuff like we already said. I mean, we could go for days. That was only a couple specs of a couple classes. So we did have some Legion PvP talents. Did you take a look at those Snuff? Any of the PvP talents? Or do you occasionally?
Actually, I didn't get a chance. I found out about it today, and then I fell asleep, and I literally just came back.
Well, and that's why you're late. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
All good.
I'm
So
looking at it right now, actually.
yeah, I'll let you read it. But I mean, for the base talent on the first row for every class was a trinket, then like a speed boost, and I don't know something else. It's gonna be the trinket for 99% of things. Unless
Yeah,
you play some
that,
goofy comp that
that's not even an option usually.
yeah. Unless you play something that might not need it. I don't know. Death Knight or something might not need it.
Definitely not.
But there's a few of them. We had in there. This was for druids, I think. The Defender of the Week.
Oh no, that's like all healing specs.
No, I think it was just rest. Was it all those?
It's all of them.
Oh.
Same thing with Vim and Vigor.
What is?
Defender of the Week. After healing a target below 50%, you gain 20% haste for 5 seconds. That's one of the choices.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it looks like some of the classes it's broken up between DPS, tank, and healer, or some of the lines, and then once it gets lower, it gets more specific. So you get to choose between, like, if you're a monk, you get to choose between Brewmaster or Windwalker or Mistweaver. For Druid, you actually have to choose between Feral and Guardian stuff, even though they're pretty similar. But you only get 3 choices on the first couple lines, and or there's only 3 slots for it, I guess. The first one is Trinket. Second one is all full loss of control effects, full duration. So 5 seconds or longer will be immediately removed. It has a 1.5 second cooldown. So it's a trinket, but you don't have control of it. But it's a little bit shorter cooldown. And then they have Relentless, which reduces the duration of crowd control effects by 25%. Also could be good against some comps, I suppose.
Yeah, I really like that one, especially for a type of healer. You get stunned a lot. That you're gonna get trained. That wouldn't be too bad. Maybe over trinket. I don't know if it would be worth it, but that's huge. 25%.
So they're good choices, though. I mean, it's not just
Yeah.
cut and dry. I like that. Some of them are pretty cut and dry that I read. I was reading all the Feral stuff. Some of them were really OP, but some of them were. So, in any case, what else do we have?
Damage ones don't make sense at all though. Like intuition. Crit chance increased by 30% on targets above 80% health. How is that useful in like PvP at all?
Get the first instant in crit. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
there's
but
like an
you get a crit that
ability.
takes them below 80%. It's no
What
longer a factor.
Yeah,
what
maybe
what
Anti-Venomous
class
or something.
what class has that? That's for rogue.
That's all of them.
That's all. Every damage class.
Looks like,
Every damage spell.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Same thing with Train of Thought. Damage increased by 15%.
Seems way
But
better.
but get this. After being attacked, it gets canceled for 8 seconds.
Yeah, it
So if you're
seems-
constant,
Like, if you had to choose between the 2 of those, they're both kind of built around like a rogue type thing or an opener type thing.
yeah,
I think the Train of Thought damage increased by 15%, and they just go get a re and do it again, and get these huge
Yeah.
openers, and it doesn't matter what health they're at. So they can be like a RLS or something. They play with a lock and they're just rotting everything down. Oh, they just go stealth, come back, and do way more damage on their ambush, and then after their burst is gone, they just run away, do it again. And then the other one on that is Mind Quickness. It increases your haste by 15% flatline, which is going to be OP for some classes and not so much for others. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one, especially for casters. It seems very nice.
And like enhanced shamans, wind fury type stuff.
Yeah, that too.
So did you get a chance to read your classes uh, that you're playing priest and deathknight? Did you get a chance to read any of their like actual legion talents?
The PvP talents or the regular one?
Just the regular talents.
So they're dividing it completely different. So the ones that the PvP ones are things you're only going to be able to see when you're in PvP combat.
Yeah,
Is that how it's going to work?
yeah. I think just PvP combat, but maybe only in an actual instance, like a battleground or a Ashran
Yeah,
or
separate from a duel.
yeah. So maybe duels. I don't know. I actually don't know that answer. But I think
Yeah, I know. I'm actually just looking over the mage ones right now, the PvP ones. It seems kind of boring. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
there's not a
a
lot of
lot of
change.
it, a lot of it is very passive change stuff like that.
But I kind of feel when I play my mage, there's a few things that are kind of not so fun. But I think for the most part, mages have a pretty fun play style. I don't know. That's just me though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just bored of them. Been playing for so many years.
Yeah. Um. Of course, there is the new survival stuff. They are a melee class now,
That could be interesting to see.
and there was some cool
Uh,
stuff. I kind of read through that. Looks like anybody that really enjoys the current hunter playstyle, they're probably going to play marks. But there's some cool stuff to try out. Rogues, assassination, or no, combat is gone, and they now are pirates, so they can play outlaw.
outlaw. They have a gun and a dagger.
Yep.
Doug Cleve. That name makes even more sense.
Yep, guns and knives.
Yeah,
Now they can play survival hunter, outlaw rogue. Reverse it.
yeah. That'd be funny. Melee Cleve.
And then there was something about shamans where they give their partner uh, bloodlust. Yeah, your bloodlust is now on a 45-second cooldown, but only affects you and one other person. Still pretty good. I mean, and I think that makes sense because there's so much lore involved in heroism slash bloodlust. So I think that's cool. It might be a little OP. They might have to tone that down a little bit. We'll see. Um,
And these are like regular talents.
now that was
Not.
PvP talent actually.
Oh, okay.
And then also
Yeah.
Spirit Link is going to be a PvP talent. They have to choose between Spirit Link, Earth Shield, and Rippling Waters, which is Riptide heals a whole bunch after it's over or it's dispelled.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a really bad choice though. It's Spirit Link total.
And I think Spirit Link doesn't have two charges anymore either.
Oh, okay.
But it's a 45-second cooldown now. But Earth Shield still looks about the same.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually had Earth Shield on me. Ever.
Never been healed?
I've never been anything but a healer, so
Oh,
I can legitimately say that I've never had that on me.
well, so you never played Shaman then? I'm guessing. I would hope
I've
not.
never had Earth Shield on me. It's always Water Shield.
Yeah, well, you get Earth Shield sometimes. But
He's
Oh,
like, he's like, whatever. I'll just die. It's okay.
yeah. I'm a paladin, so
kind of reading some of these warriors get to choose of. Let's see, they get intercept if they want it. This is a PvP talent. They can reset the cooldown of Colossal Smash. Or Bloodthirst clears all snares and increases movement speed by 15%. So that could be a choice. Thirst for battle versus intercept.
I was reading up on the warrior changes that they posted on the website, and it seems like warrior's just gonna be spam Colossal Smash because literally everything just resets Colossal Smash,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
changing the effect. It doesn't like remove like armor or whatever. It does 20% increased damage, and it goes up with mastery, and the damage of it increases with mastery as well. So it's just Colossal
spam
Smash
Colossal
spam.
Smash.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird, but it sounds like really powerful. Maybe that won't go all the way till Legion actually comes out. But I don't know. Sounds weird.
One of the things I thought was really cool was you can now execute targets at or below 25% instead of 20%.
Oh, yay.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
that is
Wow.
crazy because I don't know how many times I've been in a match and like he's at 22% and you just can't execute. It's just like, can't
God,
even.
that's annoying. Maybe they'll nerf the damage of it then, because that's executes like way too good to like do that.
They have to choose between that or they can execute at a 15-yard range.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Oh, it's a choice.
Yeah.
Oh
Um.
crap, that's a tough one.
Well, I don't know if it
That's
gets
a
a mage or something, man. Just read it
That
all the time.
is that's a tough one.
Uh, I like that they're going over the top with a lot of these because I think that's important. Like to have unique abilities that are like make it fun, and then balance from there. Like make it crazy. That makes a lot of people like it more.
It's it really they were talking about that each spec is gonna feel really unique, and from what I'm seeing, like man, it really does look like they're really trying to do that. Like everything just seems so different, and they're completely changing something so much that it's just like giving a completely fresh like retake on the class and the spec. Every spec just feels, from what we're reading, just seems like it's gonna be like really it's different from one another, and I really like that because it game's been getting a little dull like with certain things or revamping it again, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think they said that glyphs were not going to be that important this time around, but we still haven't really seen the glyphs, so that could change stuff even more. I don't know. We'll just have to get into that beta and alpha over the next coming months and try it out. I think we're a little shy on getting our guest in. Let me check and see if he's available. I think he might be. Yeah, you guys talk about something. I'm gonna message him.
Well, I was looking. Have you? Do you play? You said you only play healers. Well, I was looking over the Death Knight ones, PvP talents, and this looks so cool. Well, it's cool because they're making them choose. You gotta use as a talent Dark Sim, the one that you could copy an
Yeah.
ability, and also Anti-Magic Zone. So I wonder if they're still gonna have AMS. But that's really cool that they're making them choose as a talent instead of just like naturally having it. Because Dark Sim is so good,
Yeah,
and
it is.
yeah, it definitely should be a talent. It's a really game-changing ability. You could just steal one of their CCs and like turn it around on yourself. Have you read on the DKs?
I read a little bit of all of them, but not like in depth or anything.
Yeah, I was looking at the Frost talents right now, and there's this weird on I think on the fourth tier, the auroras, they seem really overpowered. The decomposing aura, I wonder how that works. It says all enemies with 8 yards slowly decay, losing 2% of their max health every 2 seconds. Stacks up to 10 times.
Yeah.
What? That's like 20, like a, so, oh, it lasts 5 seconds. Okay, I see. So, like, it's an
Still.
AoE 20% health in 5 seconds. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty big.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get our guest in here.
Alrighty.
Today we do have a pretty cool guest. Let's see if we can't get him to pick up here. Okay. Yeah, if you didn't read the intro or the title, today we have. Hey, how's it going?
Hello,
Hey.
not too bad.
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much.
So today we have a multi rank 1 gladiator feral druid. His name is Yipz, and he has won the Gamers United tournament first place alongside Sidu and Krill, playing feral Shadow Priest Retro Shaman. He's commentated in the Pro Game X tournament. He's played in the NAO Invitational tournament and beat out Krill, who he won a tournament with. He's played in some other various tournaments, and he's a really nice guy, and I really like watching your stream, and you're a inspiration to feral druids.
Thanks for the great introduction, man.
You're welcome.
Sure.
So I gotta
We'll go
say,
with it.
you said you really hadn't played much WoW lately, but are you excited
Oh.
for Legion? I mean,
I've been playing more WoW as of recent. Like towards the end of last season, I was playing quite a lot, just to get rank 1. And I've been playing a lot this season too over the past couple days because it just got released. And Legion looks interesting, I guess, but I'm not too sure because like the thing was when they released like the feral changes on the website or whatever, there wasn't really anything that changed. Like it all stayed the same basically. They didn't implement anything new or change anything that old that was different. So I'm not too sure how that's gonna kind of pan out for that. But a lot of the classes that they're introducing seem kind of their mobility seems kind of questionable. But we'll have to see how it works.
so you
I
haven't
guess.
looked at the new talent changes or anything like that?
Oh, I've looked at the talents. Yeah, they look interesting.
So, you're 20, 21?
21 or 20. I'm turning 21 next month.
Okay, so you were 9 years old when WoW came out, or 10. Yeah, you were 10 years old when WoW came out. Today was the 11th anniversary of World of Warcraft. So you were actually
Yeah.
kind of a youngin' for. Did you start playing in what, Kata?
I started playing Wrath.
You started playing in Wrath, okay. Did you start as playing a Feral Druid?
No, I started playing as Holy Paladin.
What made you want to do a competitive arena rather than like be a dungeon master or a high-end raider, do that kind of thing?
I don't know. Just like when I first started doing it with my real life friends who got me into the game, and then we queued up our first arenas, and then I really liked it, even though I had no idea what was going on. Like I didn't even know what fear was from Warlock. Like I was really bad back then, but I really really liked the competitive aspect of it, and probably the rating system. Because whenever I played a game, I always kind of liked the PvP aspect of it and being competitive towards it. And the WoW PvE scene just seemed kind of scripted to me, and I didn't really enjoy that too much. But the PvP arena scene, like it was really competitive, and I thought like all the rank 1 and stuff, like it was so cool. Like you could aspire to be that great. Not that many people can get it, so just kind of like seeing that made me really want to play arena and get better at it. So it just like the competitiveness really appealed to me, I think.
So you act like you have played competitive games before World of Warcraft. What did you play before that?
Oh, I just well, I haven't played really. I mean, like not competitive games, but like Guild Wars. There's this thing called like Heroes Ascent and things like that, and there used to be arena and Guild Wars as well, and I really really enjoyed playing that. So when I came into WoW, it was kind of a similar thing.
Awesome. So in Legion, we'll talk about this a little bit, but Cyclone seems to be gone for Feral Druids, and well, every druid
Yeah.
except for Balance. What do you think on that?
I
Is that a good thing, a bad thing?
I don't really like it at all. It really disappointed me when I saw that because Cyclone is like such a core ability for druids as a whole. Like we've had it forever, and to be honest, Feral Cyclone used to be even better. We used to have like the instance
Yeah,
of Predatory
right.
Swiftness, and they gutted that. And
Oh,
Cyclone
don't
has been
remind
an
me.
ability. Cyclone's ability to resto for druids forever, and I mean they even removed it on NS, so you can't NS Cyclone anymore, and they removed that from everybody. It's just such a core baseline druid ability that every druid has had forever. It's the only like consistent CC that a feral druid would have, or the only thing that really, as of right now, makes it stand out from any other melee class. Like why I pick a feral over a rogue. Well, you want CC probably, or the
Well,
fact that you
damage
heal.
too.
I guess damage incarnations are really powerful cooldown, but in general, you know, Cyclone is a really, really unique tool that no other melee class has, as well as Resto Druid. That's kind of what stands them up from the other healers. Sure, they have pots and stuff, but the fact that they add CC to the team is kind of what they do, and the fact that they're removing that, like, it just feels like they're making it so you're just going to play one style, which isn't enjoyable. Like when you're in arena, you want to be able to do multiple things and feel like you're contributing towards the win of a game in some positive way, rather than just doing damage, because you could do damage on any class. Why not just pick the class that does the most damage? It's just more enjoyable to like have that CC aspect. So if they remove that, like, I might just reroll or something, because it would just I feel like it would be super boring, but I'm sure they haven't released everything that they're added yet, so it's hard to say. But I do not like it as a whole.
And also, along those lines, I think that Cyclone is one of the skills that stand a great Feral Druid out from just a decent Feral Druid. because like a lot of them could just spam incarnation and run in and do damage, but to like actually be able to CC and know when to CC and when to use it defensively or offensively, I think it's a skill that really like transitions.
Yeah, and also the ability itself, it's so different than any other CC, and the fact that it makes you immune to healing, that's also one huge part. Where you use it offensively like that to stop healers and then switch to a healer.
Yeah,
And
sure.
it's kind of like you said, it's so unique to druids. It's kind of like mage's poly. It's just so unique to that class, and then kind of takes the flavor away from it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with that.
So then we also have in the level 45 talents for the class, you get to choose like the affinities between the Resto affinities, the Guardian affinities, and the Moonkin affinities. You can choose
Yeah.
between Ysera, you reduce damage by 10%, or you can increase range on all abilities by 5 yards and get Moonkin form plus Moonkin abilities. So tell me why and how you're going to win BlizzCon as a Moonkin cat.
I'm not sure how I'm gonna win BlizzCon as a Moonkin cat. I don't think Moonkin will probably be the correct choice for Feral Druids in
Yeah, I
Arena.
don't think so.
Simply because the passive isn't that great, for
Yeah.
one. And two, if you're a melee, you're kind of in their face already, and when they're running away, you'll probably have mobility tools to get to them. And if they are running away, they'll probably be behind the pillar anyways, so you won't be able to utilize that casting mechanic. And versus comps that you want to be able to cast against, you'd probably rather just be a Moonkin anyway. So I don't think the balance one is going to be the ones that picked. The ones that are probably going to be picked are the Guardian Affinity and the Restoration Affinity, depending on the matchup that you're fighting against. So if your team needs extra heals or you want your Sarah's Gift, or you're going to be fighting a really long dampening game, then you probably want to go with the Restoration Affinity. But the Guardian Affinity, the only reason I could ever see you want to picking that is I actually saw the Frenzied Regen Chain. It looked pretty powerful because it heals all damage taken over 6 seconds or something like that. So it looks like it's kind of reverted back to the old Frenzy Regeneration where it's more powerful. I'm not 100% sure, but the just baseline reduce all damage taken by 10% is actually really powerful in Arena, especially if you kind of need that to be, to live while being bursted down. So I don't think the Balance Affinity will be chosen. I think the Resto and the Guardian Affinity will be chosen, but it's going to be interesting to see how much healing you actually put out as a Resto Druid, as a Feral.
And I said right before we came on that they really haven't told us anything about glyphs, but for the most part they've said that they're not going to be as powerful as they are now. So that Guardian Affinity kind of replaces the ninth life glyph right now. So if you can stack those, maybe, but if that's gone, then yeah, that.
But I think that's the regular talents. Those aren't the PvP.
Yeah, that's just the regular talents. But I didn't see any damage reduction talents for the PvP talents. Speaking of the PvP talents, did you see Pouncing Strikes? Rake has a 10-yard range and causes you to leap towards the target.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean,
it's just interesting to me. It's just
interesting. It doesn't
fun.
seem like that crazy because 10 yards isn't actually a very long distance. It's actually really quite short in Arena. You might think it's longer than it is, but it's not. And as a Feral Druid, you don't really have problems making 10 yards because you can't be rooted or anything. So I'm not sure how great it'll be, but it looks interesting.
Maybe they're going to change it again.
Right? And it doesn't feel like it's that long of a range. So it's actually shorter than the Feral kick. So
I have a theory. I think the Moonkin form affinity and that Rake talent, they're meant for people with bad internet. That way they can just chase the target and always be in range, and it doesn't matter that they're lagging. So that's just my 2 cents.
That's why I play Feral, actually, because I play on really high ping because I live so far away, and everyone plays on the West Coast, and it's really easy to catch people with the high movement speed.
So are you going to be streaming a lot this season?
I don't know. I might turn it a couple times. Usually when I stream, I'm just kind of like doing it if I like Q3s and my teammates want to. A lot of the times, the teammates that I play to don't actually like streaming. So
you still
don't like it.
You're still in school?
Yeah, I'm in university.
I kind of checked your Twitch page and it looked a little outdated on all your stuff, but I couldn't tell. So
yeah, I'm in school right now. It takes up a lot of time.
So I have a question. How did you get hooked up with some of those players in the first place? Did you just get rank 1 several times and then Sea-Doo and Krill and those kind of guys approached you after you beat them?
Well, what happened was I was Gladdy. Like I played with like some people that had never gotten Glad before in season 9 for the first time. We all got Glad together, and then we kind of stuck together through all of Kata. And then once Cataclysm, like the very last season of Kata, I messaged a player, Jamili. He was pretty well known now. Back then, he probably wasn't as well known, but he was still a really, really good player, and a lot of people didn't like him. And he just wasn't as well known as the community as he is now. I don't think back in season 11.
Yeah.
And I messaged him. I'm like, hey, I'm a really good feral druid. Play with me. And he's like, all right, I'll try. And he's like, oh yeah, you are a really good feral druid. So I played with him, and then I kind of got a little bit of recognition from other players, not too much, but a little bit more because I played with him at the end of Kata. But then once MOP hit, everyone went to Tichondrius because all the players came back, and everyone moved to Tichondrius, went to AM MVP. And then what happened was Feral Druid was actually really, really powerful in the start of Season 12 because Incarnation was a really, really good cooldown. We had Instant Cyclone, we had NS, we had Heart of the Wild, we had so many tools, and you could get Disperse, or you could get Bubble from your Symbiosis. So everyone kind of wanted to play with Feral Druids, and to be honest, there weren't that many Feral Druids back then. And I was one of the top ones, and some of my better friends were like, hey guys, try out this Feral Druid. So I started playing with Rekful, and then I was kind of on his stream, and then people saw that it was, all right.
That was the first time that I saw you, was on Rekful's stream.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people kind of saw me the first time, and that's kind of how I got more into the scene.
So what season was that you guys played in that tournament with Sea and Krill?
Season 13?
13. Was that when we had the tree stun?
Yeah, that was the tree stun.
That was really fun.
That was a pretty fun. Yeah, that was a really. As soon as that season came, as soon as the patch hit for that season, I tried the talent and I tried it in duels, and I was like, wait a minute, this ability is off the global cooldown, and I have 3 charges of stun. I'm like, this is going to be ridiculous. Like the instant I saw that and tried it in a duel, I'm like, this is actually going to be insane. So I was kind of excited, and I was surprised they didn't nerf it. Like, I would prefer they just removed it and kept Instant Cyclone instead of reverting the Instant Cyclone change and then like remove Nature Swiftness. Like I would have preferred that 10 times over having it because it was a really, really silly ability. Although it did make the skill cap of Feral very, very high. If you have 3 buttons that are off the global cooldown that you can use on anyone at any time, like you can do a lot of things, like a lot of good things with that. Although it is very overpowered.
Yeah, made the target hotkeys and stuff super important at that point. People were using those. Yeah, I remember playing it, and it was tons of fun. And Incarnation is fun in its own right. I mean, it's a gimmicky fun, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't enjoy the, but besides that, it's okay.
I actually have a question for you because you were talking about the 3 different abilities. What do you actually use for like arena targeting, like party arena target 1, 2, 3, or do you use focus frames and stuff like that for your CCs?
I usually use focus for my CCs, but I have like target arena 1, 2, 3 bound and I have focus arena 1, 2, 3 bound. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you don't have to be that quick. Like you don't have to have like clone arena 1, clone arena 2, clone arena 3 like bound to like certain abilities for me anyways, because the way I think of it is like I already know what I'm going to clone before I clone it, so I can just switch my focus before I even start cloning and then clone.
Mm-hmm. And it's really usually on faster abilities, huh?
Yeah, it's usually like on faster abilities. You have to work about that, like interrupt and stuff. But even then, if you think about it, like if you're close to the pally, you should have him on focus anyways, because you're already going to be thinking about kicking him. So it doesn't really matter for me, and I'm just kind of used to it. I know a lot of people do have the arena 1, 2, 3, but I find that's like too many binds for me.
Yeah, a lot of people do. It's always a split between people, but I use the focus because it's like you said, like just way too many buttons, especially for a druid. I feel like druids
there's a
have
lot of
the most buttons of like every class.
Yeah, there's a lot of abilities that I have focus. Like if I was to do like arena 1, 2, 3, fairy fire, root, cyclone, then hibernate, all those different. Like, I just wouldn't have the room.
And do you play any other classes?
I mean, I play all the druid specs. I've played all the druid specs, Resto, Feral, and Boomkin to rank 1. Like back in MOP at the end of that season. I didn't enjoy Feral anymore, so I played Boomkin instead and got rank 1 as that. And I also played Resto, and I was 3K rated as Resto. I didn't end the season as Resto, but I was able to get pretty high rated as Restoration. And then besides that, I played Windwalker Monk to Gladiator. I just casually played that like 1 season in MOP, and then I mained a Holy Pally back in Wrath to like 2800 in Wrath, which was fairly high back then. That was about Gladiator ranking, but mostly I just play Druid now.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you watch BlizzCon? Do you have any thoughts on like the current?
I went to BlizzCon.
You went to BlizzCon. Oh, okay. How was that? Great experience.
It was really good experience. It was interesting. It's a lot different seeing it in person than it is watching over a computer screen.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of energy in the room compared to
I talked to
like
Joe Fernandez. He's supposed to be a guest sometime in the next month,
Oh.
and so that'll be really cool. BlizzCon champ now.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
What are your thoughts on the like the production quality and stuff that they put into BlizzCon? Like it seems off the charts this year compared to the previous years.
Yeah, I think the tournament itself, besides, I'm not gonna criticize the like the pre-BlizzCon tournament, not the regionals, but
The week before.
the week before, because they were having really bad connection issues, and that's why it was so delayed. But at BlizzCon, it actually went quite smoothly, which was really, really good. Like they got the games out really, really quick, which was nice, and they didn't spend too much time analyzing, which I thought was good. And yeah, I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, that for me was the biggest thing. Was there was almost no downtime. It was so little.
Yeah,
Like,
and
just
that's like
jump
really
right in
important.
between games.
Just
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, the only beef I had was that pre-week. I feel like they did more games then in more amount of time. There was hardly anything because Heroes of the Storm and WoW shared the same stage. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was actually delayed because Heroes tournament
Yeah.
had issues.
And
They
then
had
it was
to-
one best of 7. It was pretty late, but it was a pretty good
Yeah.
tournament. What are your thoughts on the current meta? That nasty turbo cleave.
It's quite boring, honestly. The current meta in WoD altogether, not even with regards to turbo, is quite boring. Like for example, I just finished queuing, and every team we fought, no matter what it was, we fought God Comp, we fought Windwalker DK, we fought Turbo, and we fought FLS. Like I was playing Boomkin Mage, so we could control the middle of the map, and not one team like did not move from behind the pillar the entire game, which is really, really boring. Like literally versus the FLS, the Feral Dude sat in stealth. I would say probably about 30% of the game, and the rest of Shaman and Warlock just sat behind the pillar waiting for their cooldowns to come back up. Like it's not enjoyable to play games like that, and obviously it's not enjoyable for the other team if they're running to the middle of the map getting cross CC the entire thing. But to fight against all these cleaves and stuff that are just trying to dampen you and not actually trying to do anything offensive to win the game, it's not an enjoyable meta. It's much more enjoyable when both teams are trying hard to win the game, and you're kind of going back and forth trying to stop that, rather than one team trying not to lose in order to win. That's kind of not enjoyable. And also Turbo is just way too strong. The damage output without an ECC is ridiculous.
And
And they got buffed.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah, and
healing
they got-
nerf that they got was good. That's in the right direction, but I can't imagine their damage buff.
The damage buff is quite silly.
I heard Z-Pie got 3K almost already playing his Ellie Shaman
Yeah,
after that buff.
LA Shaman, LSD, yeah, it's a lot of dampening. It's not enjoyable to play as a player. It's not like, you play one game against it, it's okay, but it happens once you start playing 3 or 4 games, and each game is 15-20 minutes long. It starts to get a little tedious.
So excited about Legion. They're going to be able to separate their PvE and PvP class balancing.
Yeah, that'll be good and interesting. I think it's important who they take their PvP balancing from, though, because a lot of players speak from a certain perspective, and a lot of the times it's not the best way to approach it, but we'll see. I hope they put it in the right direction. I'm not sure which way that direction was. Towards the end of MoP, actually, PvP wasn't doing too bad. Rest of Shamans and Warlocks together was still kind of annoying, but the rest of the meta besides that was actually fairly balanced.
That's how I felt too. Everybody griped about MoP, but I thought it was an okay expansion.
Yeah, MoP at the end, it felt pretty good. Like priests were good, Palias had comps they could run, and if you didn't fight against Rest of Shaman Warlock, like if you played well, you had a pretty good chance of winning, which was nice. And the games wouldn't last forever. There was that.
What, do you have anything else you want to talk about? We don't have much.
Not much. Just I hope they put some interesting new thing. Oh yeah. There's actually one thing. In the Feral PvP talents, I don't know if it's because they haven't like done anything with it yet, but some of the scaling on it just seems ridiculous. Because, like, why would you pick Blood Talons over Savage Roar ever in a level 100 tree when Blood Talons only increases 2 abilities by 30%, but Savage Roar just passively increases your damage by 40%?
Yeah, I read that too. I felt the exact same way.
And then also the 90 talent just seems like an auto pick for PvP, and then level 75 talent seems like an auto pick.
I thought they
and
all
level
seemed like
60
auto
talent
5.
is an
Auto
auto
pick,
pick.
But
Yeah.
these
except for
are
the 45s.
are you gonna be able to actually use these in PvP though?
Yeah.
I would hope
thought-
so.
Yeah.
I thought that then what's the deal with the PvP talents and the regular talents?
Well, the regular talents, they're in use in PvE and PvP, but the PvP ones are
Oh,
only in
so the PvP ones are addition to the regular talents.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense then, because like I look at the PvP ones, I'm like, there's not a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
mean,
this
yeah.
makes a whole lot of sense now.
And then also like you can pick your Sarah's gift in the regular talents, and then you can also get it from going resto. Does that mean you'll have two year Sarah's gifts, or I don't. It's kind of confusing. As well.
Would it stack? Maybe they would change that. Maybe it's still very early on, so everything
Resto
could change.
won't be able to double pick it though, because they get to choose between.
Yeah,
balance.
resto can't, but can the other classes double pick your Sarah's gift? Because that would be crazy. Healing 8%
Yeah.
every 5 seconds. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot. Like you remember Second Wind in
Oh yeah.
Mob and stuff. Like it's almost equivalent. That would be really close to the equivalent of Second Wind.
Oh, that'd
Just
be bad.
passively should be quite strong. But I don't know. Because just some I think they just have to tune the numbers honestly.
Looks like we're
and then
probably
have-
gonna lose Typhoon for the most part too. Gotta
Yeah.
pick Mighty Bash, which I'm actually okay with, because Typhoon feels like the most broken ability ever. Like it never works,
Typhoon. Yeah. It. Well, I mean,
especially as a
It works.
knockoff. I don't know. Blades
as a
Edge.
knockoff, it doesn't work so well anymore. Yeah. Like on Blade's Edge, it's kind of hard to get it. On Dalaran, it's pretty reliable. It's just the fact that they changed it from a longer range to 15 yards made kind of a big difference. But I mean, it still works for interrupting spellcasts and stuff if you're on a target
Yeah.
and you save the global cooldown. If you use a global, it's kind of hard because your globals is fairly slow compared to caster's haste now. But if you save the global with like the latency of it, you can use this stuff. Yeah,
So maybe against mages or something. You keep
like yeah,
Typhoon.
mages. But I don't know. Mighty Bash is just so much better. So much
Yeah,
better.
you don't want to lose that 5 second stun. That's ridiculous.
Level 30 felt like, I don't know, PvE talent. Like you could pick renewal if you wanted a PvE and you didn't need charge or displacer.
Yeah, like wild charge is the obvious pick, and then also the first tree talents, like it just seems
play
so
Moonfire.
obvious.
Just play it.
But why
I
would
don't-
you
I
play
don't
Moonfire
care.
when
No,
Blood's
no,
just
just-
so
Just
powerful?
because. Just play Moonfire and
Doesn't make
balance
any sense.
affinity. Just do it.
But
Wait,
why would
which
they-
one?
Yeah.
Bloodscent is just so overpowered compared to the rest of those talents. Like the two other talents, Lunar Inspiration and Predator, are just total garbage compared to Bloodscent. Like it doesn't make sense why they even put them in.
Someone's totally gonna do that and just make it like get to like rank 1 with that build.
If you get to rank 1 with
Balance
Moonfire
affinity
Balance
and lunar
Affinity-
inspiration.
Oh, I'm gonna send a good donation if you can do that.
Well, I mean, you
That-
can do it, right? I mean, you just queue FLS and you just sit behind a pillar all day and wait for dampening. Like you could
Yeah,
do
that's
it.
true.
It's not like it's
Hey.
impossible. You just do damage. That's all that matters, anyways. And it's not in the tree of Paws of Shara anymore, so obviously you can get it.
Are
But
you
I
happy
mean, it's,
that is gone, by the way? The ugly
yeah,
ass
I
cat
don't.
form?
I do not enjoy that cat form. I must say that cat form is disgusting.
Which
It-
one?
The Claws of Shafar.
Oh,
And
really?
also, we're gonna get the artifact weapons.
Man, I just want my regular cat form. Like
You don't want to.
I know
You
we're
want
gonna get
a
the-
few kitty.
I don't really get the cool
A
ones, but
lightning cat?
I sometimes just enjoy the regular one, and it'd be nice if we could just use that one.
I can see
Some-
there's probably being a glyph to.
I would hope so.
Change
I
the
hope there's a
back.
monoglyph just to be able to use the regular
You'll
cat.
be
Yeah,
the
let
only
you
feral druid
choose.
in the world that wants to be a normal cat, though.
I'm
probably.
tired.
really-
of different. I miss the old cat.
I really like the original one from like
Yeah, before
BC.
Yeah, before they.
Like
changed
the
it
horde
to-
one, the horde one with the horns. Oh,
The
that's,
cat looks has such a
Yeah.
dope face.
such a thug, man.
It was a long time ago. But yeah, no, I miss the old cat form too. Yeah, I don't know. They're changing it too much. Too much cosmetics. Just let it be.
Well, you could always play Moonkin. They haven't changed since day one, so.
They are now.
And I made a Moonkin until season 9, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Getting
They
that
changed
bird
Moonkin
form, so
They just
exciting.
completely reversed the free expansion.
I kind of feel you though. Like I won't play Glyph of Stars when I play Moonkin because I'm like, no, I'm gonna be a Moonkin. Damn it.
That's it. I'm gonna be a chicken.
Yeah.
Is there? Yeah.
Okay, well, unless anybody has anything else. Anybody?
Nope.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and close this out. Thank you for coming so much, Yipz. We really enjoyed having you on. If you would
Thanks
like
a
to
lot.
find Yipz on YouTube, you can find him at youtube.com/Yipz Arena. It's with a Z, not an S. You can find him on twitch.tv/YipzTV. You can find him on Instagram at Yipstagram, which I really liked. He is brand new in Twitter. He has been on for
Yeah.
about 3 days or something. You were following 3 people, I think, and I was one of them.
Yeah.
You can find him at Yipz Chirps, YIPZCHIRPS. You can find Snuff at twitch.tv/gotsnuff. You can also find him on Twitter at snuffqt. You can find Thranen at Thranen1 on Twitter. You can find me at Raishiwi. You can find our podcast at QPopped. You can also listen to it live every Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at twitch.tv/Raishiwi. You can find the podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and just about any podcast app on your phone. You can email questions and comments to qpopped@gmail.com. And apologies to Snuts, we ran out of time for you today, as always. So, with that ado, hope you enjoyed our episode. We'll see you next week. Thanks for queuing up. Bye-bye.
Have a good one, guys.
Later.